completely with it. He was completely there mentally. It was a C5 fracture, which is the back of your neck. So that basically means from the neck down you're paralyzed. But completely there mentally. And
so who took care of him?
A lot of people. But, I mean, it was a lot of his family and then a lot of close friends.
Gotcha. And that was 3 years, you say?
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah. About 3 years ago is when the accident happened. Because it was running around this time of year because he was actually mountain biking up in the mountains here and was just ripping down the mountain and accidentally caught a tree branch and was tossed and got thrown into a rock and just snapped his neck on a rock.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. But
he did what he wanted to do.
Oh, he lived his life to the fullest. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it is tragic and it's very terrible, but I can't tell you another person who lived more life in 33 years than Brian.
Right.
It's, I mean, every single person who knew him just says that he was he was kind of a shooting star.
Gotcha.
And every single person who knew was just, they knew that about him. And, it's a tragic loss, but it's more of a celebration of who he was as an amazing human being than we're not trying to focus on the...
Yeah. Well, what was his profession?
He worked for J.P. Morgan, actually. He was doing finance for them here in Salt Lake, and he continued to do that, actually, for them after the accident and stuff.
Kind of like working out of home somehow?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just had, like, a bunch of monitors at home and was able to use, like... He was able to use a little bit of his hands, but he couldn't really, like, move his arms.
Yeah.
But he was able to, like, type on the keyboard, and he had this... It was a very elaborate... setup that he had, and he was able to do
sounds like a lot like who was that?
Stephen Hawking a little bit.
Hawking, yeah,
absolutely.
Similar.
It was similar to that.
Except he didn't lose his ability to talk.
Right.
Well, Hawking obviously lived a lot longer. And,
he did.
And I guess in a way, by having a shorter life, he may not have had a deterioration. Start falling apart when you're not moving your body and when things starts happening after another.
Yeah, I think Hawking had ALS too, which is Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah. Well, I guess. Now, so with that broken neck, though, there was really nothing else that was it, and they didn't expect that it would, I would say, deteriorate. But
no, his body was fine. That's just a risk of being in a wheelchair. You can get blood clots because you're not getting up and down enough, and that kind of thing. But no one was really expecting it.
But it was a blood clot.
It was a blood clot.
So it happened sooner than...
Oh, way sooner. I mean, he was doing pretty well. It is what it is. It's like, it's not what we wanted. We all thought, well, maybe he'll recover the use of his upper body. I mean, it's hard to describe, but he was literally one of the most vibrant, strong people I've ever met. So we definitely thought, well, if anybody could recover from this, it would be Brian.
Well, it's interesting in the fact that my work in the last number of years has been more in remembrances and memories. When I moved out here 5 years ago, I had sold my business in the San Diego area 23 years ago and retired. I was able to retire at 55, and I kept 10% of the company, still have it, and has been paying me 23 years.
Yeah.
But I have had the issue of well, let's put it this way: after selling the business and my getting married to a young lady I met online at a Christian connection 20 years ago, back when the internet was just getting going.
Brand new internet.
She had, and she was single for 14 years from a divorce, and I was 7 years from a divorce, and we had both kind of, had reached a point in our lives that it was, look, either God does it, I don't need it,
Right.
And so in that Christian perspective, we were able to both explain in our kind of resumes that you write when you join the group of what you like and who don't the things that would make a match
to you,
and in that way God really matched us up perfectly. We haven't even had a single tussle in 19 years. We celebrated a few months ago our 19th anniversary.
Wow.
But
that's amazing. That's
truly amazing. But we had both experienced choices that we made in marriages, which failed.
Right.
And we just basically took our time. It was like
learn from it, and at a certain point let go and say,
that's right. Either it was going to be God, or it was like we didn't need this.
Right.
So anyway, we were down on after we got married, we ended up down in Florida in the Panhandle, in what they call the Emerald Coast, which is the northern portion of the Gulf, where it comes underneath Alabama and Georgia.
Is it close to Destin?
It is Destin. That's where, if I'd have mentioned Destin earlier, I didn't know you would know.
Well, I lived in New Orleans for 5 years.
Oh, sure, you went over to Destin.
Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you guys may have even done your time in, what we call it, Panama City.
Oh, yeah.
For the beach, for the spring breaks, things like that.
Pensacola, Panama City, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, when we moved out here, we were there for 14 years in the Destin area. And when we sold our house and moved out here, I realized my mother had died 19 years ago. She died just a few months after my wife met her. So I didn't realize, when I had to clean out all her stuff, I realized that once I was loading a vehicle, a truck, to get out here, I thought, my God, I didn't realize that my mother had this much stuff. Her mother, herself, and whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And
over the years.
Yeah, over the years of collecting, and of course a lot of my baby pictures, movies, and things like that. Yeah. And so it was like, I got to do something with this, And I think that when I first got it, it was like I got to do something about it. But when you put it in the garage, it's kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
And only time you really see a problem with that is when the garage floods or your house burns down or whatever, and you stand back and you go, well, okay, we replaced the house, but all the memories are gone.
Right.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Right.
So anyway, so I knew I had to get around to doing something, and I started fiddling first. Once we got here, I started fiddling with building a website that kind of put it together where I could share the pictures, and kind of developed the way it was coming together. And when I finished, it was like, well, maybe there are other people who would have the same need as far as how to use it to organize it. I think if I can dig this piece right, there may be a couple of cards here, but if you can pull, separate them if there's more.
Yeah.
Anyway, I created what's called MemKeeper.
Okay.
And if you look at the back of the card, you'll see that there's a family tree, and everyone born with the same last name is in that tree.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Behind every picture is the story of that family member, or as much as they wanted to say about themselves. Of course, I did my parents.
Right.
Now, only the people born with the same last name is in that tree, because that is your tree that you were born.
Right.
But when you open up the individuals that are in that tree, it then opens up who the wives are,
kids are,
and all of that, and so on. So if you take a look at the back of the card there, you'll see that there is a short code a couple of short codes on the left side. Yeah. Well, that is what I put on my mother's stone. My mother was also cremated, and I have her ashes in a niche in Sandy here in town. Okay. Because I had her ashes for a lot of years, but it wasn't until I got here that I realized what I was going to do with them.
Sure.
Right. A lot. If I can find a pull out, I'd let these cars get ahead of me instead of me trying to lead the trail here. I see to see what I can find. Much easier following tail lights.
Absolutely. It's awfully foggy up here, huh?
Yeah. Let's see what I can do here. That looks like maybe a spot. Let's let them fly. Go, go, go. I can't believe people driving in this stuff without their lights on. But anyway, obviously when you mentioned you were doing scattering ashes and so on.
Yeah.
Also mentioned on the back of that card is something that I've used called Forever Missed. It's an online way to share an obituary instead of putting obituaries in every newspaper in every town that he may have lived in.
Sure, yeah.
By having that online obituary, people, by searching his name, if they know his full name, they can search his name and it'll immediately go to his place on Forever Missed, which I think is a most unique thing. So even if he had his name like John Brown or something very common, but his birth date is combined in this and his death date, there is no chance that two people with the same identical name could be born and die on the same day.
Right.
So it makes him an absolute perfect search.
Yeah.
And so Forever Missed. And it doesn't only have to be done by family members, but if you know there's an obituary, and it's always nice when friends can share there, and you can, once it's up there, friends and other folks can add things to it in comments about it, and have a way to share those memories. If you do the one that's only, they let you have 3 pictures and no charge in putting that together. You can write all the stories you want, but it's the number of pictures. But you might find that interesting, and if you took a moment when you get a chance to take a look at what I did for my mother and my wife's mother, then you can see how you might find that useful.
Okay.
By the way, the other thing, what I was blessed to invent was the ability to write into glass, wood, and stone, and so my patent for being able to write in stone surfaces is done with a photoplastic that you can use like a printing plate.
Oh, wow.
And sandblasting is the way you cut into these surfaces.
Gotcha.
So anyway, you can see how now you can, even with the burial spot, you can add the short code and be able to have that person's story told right from the stone. With us walking around with smartphones, we now have the tools to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So I thought you might find that.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's really cool.
So that will lead you to. Okay, we're going straight up to Alta.
Yeah.
So that will lead you to how to do it. You have my card if you have any questions, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you have any, I know this right now is at a moment of where you are. It's fresh. It's too fresh to even start thinking about that.
Right.
But it is something that you can follow up on and start by just getting on to Forever Missed. And even if you did that as a gift, create that. And good, especially if you had some pictures of you with him, I don't think there could be a better memory. Now, maybe because I've done it with my family that I feel it's so special. So every one of my family members who died, I have done that. Okay. And also it reminds you twice each year. It's birthday and death day.
Okay.
So that sometimes you can forget all about it. And it gives you a nice little memory. And then you can add in, you can back in with another little note. Let's see where we are. Okay.
It's very foggy.
I've been here before quite a few times.
It doesn't always look like this though.
Yeah,
but that's cool. That's really amazing. That's a really good idea.
But
I like that a lot.
When you mentioned what you were going to do, I had to take your ride because I believe there's no accidents with God, and He puts you in the right place to be able to touch someone's life in a way that you could have something special happen.
Absolutely.
In fact, I give God the full credit because He's the only one that ever wrote on stone that I've known about. Because He wrote the 10 Commandments, or had them written and sent down with Moses.
Yep.
So you can't say that God doesn't know how to write on stone.
That's true.
No, He may not have done it exactly the way, but He showed me how I could do it and make a business out of it.
He knows the right medium, anyway.
Yeah, he got it. So anyway, the real impactful thing with me for the relationship with Christ is the simple one that happened when Jesus was crucified.
Mm-hmm.
And when He was crucified, there were 2 thieves on the cross.
Mm-hmm.
And one basically said to Him, "If you're the Son of God, get us down from here."
Said, "I cannot."
Obviously a doubter, say, "Prove it that you're the Son of God." The other one said, "This man has done nothing wrong. We're being punished for the penalty. We're taking the penalties on of our sin, our thievery, and what we have done."
Mm-hmm.
And And Jesus, and he said to Jesus, "Remember me when you get to your kingdom."
Yep.
Hang on just one second. I'll pull over and let this truck in and see
Cool.
what's happening here. So he said, "Remember me when you get to your kingdom." And Jesus said to him, "Today you'll be with me in paradise." Now, where's the church involved in there? Where's all the denominations?
That was
Where's
before
all the
that.
you got to do this, you can't do that? If you drink, coffee, whatever the problem. What was it? He said, "Today you'll be with me." Well, all he
Yeah.
did was identify, "Hey, I know why I'm here,"
Right.
and he didn't even have to say I was sorry.
Right.
But I know that when you believe in your heart and you confess with your lips that Jesus is Lord,
Yeah.
His blood covering has got you,
Yep.
and you just got forever in His kingdom.
Yep.
And so the best I could share with you is, in fact, right now. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. You believe with your heart. You believe with your soul.
Do you want to confess with your mouth in this mountaintop where you're going right now, confessing believe in your heart and confessing that Jesus is Lord, and
I
ask
will.
Jesus into your heart?
I already have Jesus
Oh,
in my
okay.
heart.
All right. Okay.
But I'm probably going to talk from the top of the mountain. Not going to lie to you. I probably
Where are
am.
they? Do you have anyone you can call? and see
Yeah, I
where-
think I need to be in that parking lot over there. And I think we're climbing up into this fog, and
Oh, you think you're okay if I spin around?
I think so. Yeah, I think I just got to get into the actual parking lot, and
okay, we are at the
feel like I'm
Alta
gonna
Ski
be-
Shop is down that way.
okay.
Gold Mine Daughter. Did they tell you where?
Wildcat Base, I think, is what they said.
Oh, well, let me at least go down there then.
I'm pretty sure. I got here early because I didn't want to be.
Well, you had to start working on it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how long.
Yeah.
So
Well-
a lot of these people who are coming are like professional skiers, and I was like, I
Oh.
don't want to get here late.
Yeah.
You know, because they're
Now,
just gonna.
if this fog doesn't break and it
Right.
stays like this, you're
It's gonna be interesting.
skiing. I don't know.
Oh, we won't be doing much skiing. There'll be a lot of slides slipping down, but that's okay.
And now we've got some cars over
yeah,
here.
yeah. I think this is it.
And let's just see if any of this is. Let me see here. Now let's just take it over here. See if there's any chance. With all these vehicles, there's bound to be somebody here.
Yeah, I think this has to be.
Yeah. In fact, there's some more people with skis. You think
Yeah.
they might be your guys?
They have to be.
Okay.
The resort's not open, so people that are here for Brian,
Okay.
I'm almost positive. We just ask him.
Do you know what the last? I'll tell you what. Why don't I let you do it since you know what you're. Hang on just one second. Let me back up just a little bit and put it in this space right here. Okay.
I'm sorry. Are you guys here for McKenna?
Huh?
No.
What's that?
Are you here for Brian? McKenna? No. Okay.
No, are they doing a thing for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just not.
About it,
Well, sorry to. Sorry.
Okay. Did you win? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you know Brian?
but sounds really familiar, but is that
Rumi. You can let me out here. Thank you. Yeah, it's fine. We're gonna be taking Brian's ashes up the mountain today, so
oh, I see.
yeah. I'm not sure what parking lot I'm supposed to be in, but it's one of the Alta parking lots today.
I'm not sure which one it would be.
I think they said, isn't this the hold on, sorry. I got here early because I didn't park today.
They call this a few things. They call this the Wildcat parking lot.
Yeah, this is the one.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Doug, do you want me to get closer underneath there so you can unload?
No, it's okay. Let me just check the picture.
All right, I'll pull in just a little bit more.